You can almost feel the wind whipping through the streets of Fargo that night. 5 years ago, when I, Sarah Klein, stood on the porch of my parents' house, the snow stinging my face like 1,000 tiny accusations. At 20, I'd just been cast out into the storm. My mother's voice still echoing in my ears. If you walk out that door for that deadbeat, don't ever crawl back. My father, silent as always, just nodded, his eyes avoiding mine, sealing the betrayal. The door slammed shut behind me, the warmth of the house I'd known all my life vanishing in an instant. My boots sank into the fresh drifts, each step pulling me deeper into isolation. My heart a knot of rage and hurt. I'd chosen love over their suffocating expectations, and now I was paying for it alone. Penniless, with nowhere to turn. But that night wasn't the end. It was the spark that would burn through my life, turning pain into a quiet, unrelenting drive for justice. Not the kind with screams or schemes, but the slow erosion of their world, mirroring the way they'd eroded mine. Growing up in that modest split-level home on the outskirts of Fargo, I was always the afterthought, the shadow trailing behind my older sister, Monica Hale. Our parents, Evelyn and Victor Hale, ran the household like a tight ship, their middle-class dreams pinned on us like badges of honor. Mom, a no-nonsense office manager at a local insurance firm, had her checklists and her sharp critiques, always pushing for the right path: Ivy League schools, stable careers, marriages that screamed success. Dad, a quiet warehouse supervisor, backed her up with his grunts and nods, his silence a wall I could never breach. They paraded Monica as their golden child, 28, with a marketing degree from a top university, a sleek job at an ad agency, and a boyfriend who was a rising executive. All polished and predictable. Monica's got it all figured out, Mom would say at family dinners, her smile beaming across the table while I, at 18, picked at my food, feeling like an intruder in my own life. Monica's shadow loomed large, her straight A's and promotions a constant benchmark I could never meet. Why can't you apply yourself like your sister? Dad would mutter, his fork scraping the plate, as if my B's were a personal affront. I'd bite my lip, the words bubbling inside, I'm trying. But it's never enough for you. Their expectations carved out a hollow in me, a persistent ache that whispered I was defective, unworthy. High school became my escape hatch. I'd sneak off to coffee shops and dive bars on the edge of town, anywhere the air wasn't thick with their disappointment. That's where I met Jake Harlan, 26, a welder at a fabrication plant, his hands rough from metalwork, his laugh a low rumble that cut through my fog. Jake dreamed of starting his own metal shop, crafting custom pieces for farms and factories. He wasn't the suit-and-tie type my parents envisioned, no fancy degree, no corner office, but with him, I felt seen, not measured. When I finally confessed about Jake to Mom, her face hardened like frost on a window pane. A welder? You're settling for scraps, Sarah. Her words sliced clean through me, Dad's frown deepening the wound. They'd haul me to awkward lunches with Monica and her boyfriend, highlighting their secure life as the model. See how stable they are? That's what you need, Mom would prod, ignoring my defenses about Jake's ambitions. Monica hovered on the edges, offering weak platitudes. They're just looking out for you, she'd whisper later. But she never challenged them, too busy basking in their approval to risk it for me. I was isolated, torn between their iron grip and the freedom Jake offered. He'd pick me up after my shifts at a fast food joint, and we'd drive out to the Missouri River, sharing secrets under the stars. In his beat-up truck. I wasn't the failure daughter, I was just Sarah. Alive and wanted. The tension simmered, building like pressure in a sealed pot. I overheard them one night. Mom's voice hissing in the den. She's ruining her future with that lowlife. Dad's murmur agreed. We need to put a stop to it. I stood frozen in the hallway, my pulse thundering, realizing I was no longer family, just a problem to solve. By 20, I'd had enough of the charade. I started crashing at Jake's rundown trailer on the industrial side of town. A place with thin walls and a sagging porch. But it pulsed with possibility. I'd lie to Mom about study groups, ignoring her increasingly frantic calls. Monica cornered me once in a parking lot. You're heading for disaster. Sarah, fix this before it's too late. I shrugged her off, the resentment coiling tighter. I was done pretending. The explosion came on a frigid weekend. Snow already blanketing the ground. A nosy neighbor from Mom's knitting circle spotted me hauling boxes into Jake's trailer and ratted me out. That evening, the kitchen felt like a courtroom. Mom gripped the counter, her eyes blazing. You're shacking up with that trash? You're done embarrassing this family. Dad's voice rumbled low. Is it true, Sarah? I nodded, defiance masking the fear churning inside. The fight erupted, Mom's accusations flying like shrapnel. He's dragging you down. You'll end up with nothing. I fired back, voice cracking. He's real. Unlike your fake perfect life. Dad pounded the table. You're a disgrace. Monica sat mute, eyes downcast, her silence a fresh betrayal. As the storm outside intensified, Mom pointed to the door. Choose him. And you're out. For good. Dad stood rigid. Not a word to defend me. The hurt crashed over me like a wave, their pride over their own daughter. I grabbed my bag, tears freezing on my cheeks, and stormed out. I don't need your approval, I spat, the door slamming like a final judgment. The blizzard swallowed me whole, wind howling my regrets. But I kept walking, the betrayal fueling each step toward Jake's. Settling into Jake's trailer felt like a fragile victory at first. The creak of the floorboards a soundtrack to our whispered plans. I'd left behind the suffocating house. And here, with him, I could breathe. We shared microwave meals, dreamed of his shop, and I'd fall asleep to the rhythm of his breathing, convinced this was worth the exile. To pay my way, I picked up extra hours at a warehouse gig, lifting boxes until my muscles screamed, stashing cash for our future. Jake worked overtime at the plant, coming home with grease-streaked clothes and promises. This is for us. Babe. Monica slipped me a hesitant text. You okay? I replied curtly. Walls up high. I didn't need their scraps of concern. But cracks appeared like fissures in ice. 3 months in, Jake's nights stretched longer, his phone buzzing with texts he hid. I ignored the gnawing doubt, blaming fatigue, until an anonymous DM slid into my inbox. Your man's playing you. Check his late shifts. It was vague but venomous, planting seeds that sprouted fast. I noticed the evasions, whispered calls in the bathroom, a bar receipt from a dive we never visited, the faint whiff of cheap perfume on his collar. My mind spun webs of suspicion. The betrayal from my family echoing in this new wound. I'd sacrificed everything for him. One night, he stumbled in late, eyes shifty. I confronted him in the dim kitchen light. Who's keeping you out? He deflected with a laugh. Just work. Sarah, you're imagining things. But his lies crumbled under pressure. The message, the receipts, the distance. His face twisted. Fine. There was someone else. But it meant nothing. The admission hit like a gut punch. The room spinning. I'd been a fool, trading one cage for another. Quiet fury rose. I gave up my life for you, he begged. But I packed my bag, the same one from that fateful night, and walked out. His pleas fading into the cold air. Alone again. The double betrayal crushed me. But it hardened something deep inside. A vow forming in the silence. They'd all regret underestimating me. The blizzard that night was merciless, mirroring the chaos in my chest. After leaving Jake's, I trudged through knee-deep snow, bag heavy with shattered dreams. No shelter in sight. My warehouse pay had dwindled to scraps enough for a bus ticket or a meal. Not both. The wind clawed at me. Visibility zero. As I made for a rundown motel I'd seen ads for. Doubt screamed, how do I survive this? The bus shelter on Broadway was my temporary refuge. Its flickering lights a dim haven amid stranded souls. Fingers frozen. I dialed home. Desperation overriding pride. Mom's voice was ice. What now? Sarah? I pleaded. The storm's bad. Can I just? She cut deep. You chose your path. Stay on it. Dad echoed. Don't bother us again. The line went dead. Their rejection a fresh scar, amplifying the isolation. I curled on the bench. The storm's roar drowning my sobs, wondering if this was rock bottom or if I'd freeze before dawn. A voice pierced the haze. You all right there? It was Marcus Reed, a transit worker in his 50s, badge glinting under the shelter's bulb. His face lined with quiet compassion. I shook my head, words failing. He didn't push, instead. He offered his truck, shifts over. Let's get you out of this mess. Wary but broken. I followed. He drove through the whiteout to a budget lodge. His advice simple, one foot in front of the other. You've got fight in you. As he pulled away, a sliver of resolve flickered. Strangers showed more kindness than blood. That night, huddled in a threadbare room, I swore I'd rebuild. Not for revenge's flash, but for the slow burn of proving them wrong. Survival mode kicked in. Raw and unrelenting. The lodge ate my last dollars. So I texted my old friend, Lisa Vaughn, a barista scraping by in a studio downtown. I'm in hell, need a couch. She replied instantly, get over here. Her place was cluttered but warm. And she thrust a mug of tea and $150 at me, no arguments. We're in this. With her boost, I snagged a dingy efficiency apartment in a forgotten complex. Walls thin as paper. But mine. I doubled down on warehouse shifts. Back aching from endless lifts. Customers' complaints grinding my nerves. Lisa checked in, forcing me out for cheap burgers. You're a survivor. Sarah. Don't forget it. Her faith ignited mine. I enrolled in night classes for business admin at the local tech college, poring over spreadsheets until my eyes burned, envisioning a ladder out of this pit. Monica's olive branch came via mail, a card with $100 tucked inside. I'm here if you need. No strings from them. Her call followed. Let me help. Sarah. I took the cash for bills but ghosted her texts. The family silence still too loud in my ears. Trust was a luxury I couldn't afford. Months blurred into a grind, early alarms, grueling work, late night cramming. Lisa toasted my first A. See? You're rising. The scars throbbed, parents' dismissal, Jake's deceit, but they propelled me. Each victory a quiet jab back. I wasn't healing, I was armoring up. The pain fueling a determination that whispered, they'll see what they lost. 5 years on, the transformation was complete, a testament to the fire they'd ignited. I'd climbed to a senior analyst role at a logistics firm in Fargo, my office humming with purpose. Salary affording a charming bungalow shared with Ethan Grant, a gentle architect I'd met at a community event. Ethan was solid. His steady presence mending old fractures. We'd hike the Badlands, plan a future untainted by past ghosts. Security wrapped around me like a shield, built brick by brick without their help. My parents' world, meanwhile, crumbled under the weight of their choices. Monica's email begged, they want to reconcile. Health's failing, Dad's heart. Mom's regrets. A letter followed. Their handwriting shaky. We were wrong. Come home. I felt the old hurt stir. But it cooled to indifference. Their pride had cost them a daughter. Now isolation was their companion. An empty table at holidays. Whispers from neighbors about the lost girl. When Monica called. Pleading. I was calm. They discarded me in a storm. Words don't erase that. I hung up. The silence my final cut, no dramatic showdown. Just the void they'd created. Echoing back at them. Jake's downfall was poetic. Whispers from Lisa confirming it. His shop dream imploded under bad loans and worse management, leaving him bankrupt. Alone in a squalid rental. He'd reached out once via mutuals. Voice laced with remorse. I messed up, Sarah. But I'd severed those ties. His pleas falling into the abyss. His betrayal had been the catalyst. Now he rotted in regret. No empire. No one to blame but himself. The price of his choices, a hollow life. Mirroring the emptiness he'd left in me. That blizzard night forged me in ice and fire. The betrayal's a crucible I emerged from stronger. Sharper. I'd been the pleading daughter. The trusting lover. Now I was unbreakable. My independence a fortress. The cost was steep, lonely nights. Gnawing doubt, but it bought freedom from their chains. Protect your heart like a vault. Don't chase echoes from those who silenced you. My parents paid with regret's slow poison. Jake with ruin's grip. I paid with scars, but gained a life unchained. If you're clinging to toxic ties, let go, the storm passes. And what's left is you. Resilient and whole.